Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 3 of Dauphiné 2023. Today's stage, it's one for the sprinters, right? They've been calling it since the beginning of Dauphiné started that stage 3 would be ideal for Sam Bennett from Bora Hansgrohe and Dylan Groenewegen from Jayco Alula. So when the cameras come on with about 90 kilometers to go on this 194 kilometer stage, about 120 miles in length, guess what? 90 kilometers to go. Everything is wrapped up. Guys, nobody really even tried, with the exception of Mathieu Burgodeau from Total Energies, was the only rider, solo rider, to try to get away on today's stage. And from what I'm told from the GCN commentators, he sat up and went back to the peloton. So with 90 kilometers to go on today's stage, everything's wrapped up. Nobody's attacking, nothing's happening. If you slept in late, keep sleeping, because nothing will happen until about 50 kilometers to go. So, with no break up the road, and with only Jayco Alula back there and Bora Hansgrohe pulling for both of their sprinters, they're keeping everything intact. Now, with about 50 kilometers to go, it's curb to curb, and we'll see the action up there at the front. Not crazy nervous still, but they're thinking about it and getting concerned. That's why they're curb to curb up here on stage 3. Then when we flip to the back of the peloton, that is Soudal Quick-Step's Ethan Vernon, their sprinter right there. Take a look at how he's holding the water bottle. He's got his water bottle being held like this, and then he's got his fingers wrapped around his back brake there, assuming he has his brakes set up the same way I have mine. He's got his 2 fingers here wrapped around his brakes so he can apply them if he needs to. But it's calm and relaxed out there, right? Well, all of a sudden, you see Ethan Vernon start grabbing his back brake and his front brake as he's coming up off the saddle, braking hard. You see Benjamin Thomas just to the left before Ethan Vernon started braking, and he was having a casual conversation back there. So there wasn't much to worry about, right? Well, you always got to pay attention on these flat stages. I hate these stages. Always hated them. If you had to pay me to ride my bike, you had to pay me to do these stages. But luckily for Ethan Vernon, he had kept his fingers there just on that back brake, and he's applying both, and he'll avoid the crash that's coming up. The cameras quickly fade off those 2 riders from Cofidis and Soudal Quick-Step, and we look over to the left side of the peloton there. That right there is Herregault going into the back wheel there of the Alpecin de Koenig rider, Jimmy Johnson. He's trying to hold himself up around the back seat and waist there of Jimmy Johnson. Those 2 riders will go down, the camera will fan up, and we'll see it's Julian Alaphilippe out in the grass. Now, there's a big pileup happening here. Andre Zeitz, the Astana rider, came out the hardest as he crashed on the right side of the road, and he'll band in here on stage 2. The 2 Movistar riders, they didn't have a very good outcome either. As Matteo Jorgensen, you see his back all ripped up, but he does get back up to the peloton along with his Movistar teammate. Now, everything's all back together still. Nobody's attacking up the road. Sprinter teams are still on the front, but it's curb to curb, getting a little more nervous. Then with 25 kilometers to go, look as the bridge comes up, it narrows up tightly. We see Julian Alaphilippe just barely keeping his bike up as he's bouncing off of other riders. Julian Alaphilippe, Soudal Quick-Step will turn around and look back. Well, what happened back there? Well, 3 of his teammates are getting tied up in the crash. One of them, Maury Van Savenot, my old teammate Wim Van Savenot's son, went down in the crash here on the bridge. Maury Van Savenot's not having a good stage 3 when it's supposed to be nice, easy, and calm racing, at least into the finish of today's 194 kilometer stage. He'll get back up and he'll get back to the back of the peloton. Then with 7 kilometers to go, Julian Alaphilippe's having another issue as he's off on the side of the road, having to change his bike. Up front, it's going furious, but Julian Alaphilippe's got some help from the cars. You see him giving a little bit of hand signals up there. That's telling the car in front of him, slow down just a little bit. You're going a little bit too fast. Then he'll switch cars. He'll get one of the French team cars in front of him, and he's telling him to speed up. The hand gestures back there will tell the director sportives exactly what to do. Most of the time, the riders, they prefer the smaller cars like the wagons because you could see over the top of the roof of the car. But when you get a bigger SUV car, you kind of look straight through the back window there to see what's coming up. And as Julian Alaphilippe looks over to the left side, he sees as his teammate coming back, Maury Van Savenot, who's been tied up in both of the crashes so far here on stage 3. Doesn't have time to wait for Maury Van Savenot because the peloton's going fast, and so is Julian Alaphilippe. He'll fly straight by his teammate, Maury Van Savenot. Will go back there by his director cars. You see his director's hand coming out to the side like, oh, young man, you messed that one up a little bit. Maury Van Savenot will have to do some suffering to get back up to the peloton, but we'll see Julian Alaphilippe do a solid job and get back to the back end of the professional peloton here on stage 3 of Dauphiné with about 3.5 kilometers to go. Camera goes to the front of the peloton. We see the two big boy GC teams up there. It's Team Ineos. They got Egan Bernal, and he's up in the front there as he's on the left side of the road. And we got Jumbo-Visma lined up just to the right there of Ineos as we're coming under 3.5 kilometers to go. Those two teams will drill it, and once they get under 3 kilometers to go, the speeds are going fast, 55, 60 kilometers an hour. And then we'll see Jumbo-Visma. They'll separate from Ineos as the island comes up, and Jumbo-Visma's pulling on once on the right side of the road, and Ineos is on the left. They hit the 3K banner, and Ineos, Egan Bernal, he says, that's it. My day is all done for today. I'm going to back off because we got the 3-kilometer rule. He backs off, but Jumbo-Visma on the right, they don't have a choice to back off, right? They're going for Christophe Laporte for another stage win here at the Dauphiné because let me remind you, he won stage 1, and he's wearing the race leader's yellow jersey. Well, he's got Nathan Van Hooijdonk on the front doing a solid tempo as he's drilling it hard. Now, the finish of today's stage, most difficult thing coming up is going to be under 2 kilometers to go, 2.1, and exiting just around 2 kilometers. First, it's a roundabout, then we have a right turn, then a left turn, then with about 850 meters to go is the final right turn and a straight bend in. So when you see Jumbo-Visma on the front pulling like crazy, going just under 2.5 kilometers to go, that's because they know the roundabout's coming up and they want to get Christophe Laporte into the front of the peloton when you come into this roundabout. Nathan Van Hooijdonk does a solid job. He wins the battle into the roundabout as we see Christophe Laporte just a couple wheels behind the front rider there of his teammate Nathan Van Hooijdonk. They'll come through the roundabout going 3/4 of the way around, so basically a left turn roundabout here as they exit. And then things start getting exciting. Jaco Alula will hop on the front with 1.8 kilometers to go as they go into the first right bend. When they go into the right bend, this is when they come out and Quick Step take over the front. Quick Step were on the right side of the road. Now they're swinging over to the left. And when they do, look, there's some wheels crossing back there. And it's Alpecin de Koenig rider going down hard. He goes down hard. And then EF Education, James Shaw, will go flying over the top of Vanden Bosch from Alpecin de Koenig. The cameras will go back there and see the aftermath as the Alpecin de Koenig rider, his whole backside jersey's ripped off of. Cameras go back up to the front. It's still Soudal Quick Step still up there with Baggioli leading out Florian Sénéchal. Now, Florian Sénéchal sitting second wheel, Baggioli first as he's drilling it as hard as he can. Peloton's getting strung out back there because of the crashes, and they come up to the next turn at 1.2 kilometers to go. It's a left turn. They fly into this left turn. Look about 20 spots back there at Soudal Quick Step, I believe it is, coming into the inside there on the Astana rider. He comes in hard on the Astana rider. The Astana rider crashes and goes down. That'll pull Astana out, and I believe the Quick Step rider there, Ethan Vernon, is their sprinter. We go back up to the front of the peloton, and we see it's Soudal Quick Step still on the front. Baggioli's doing exceptional jobs. Florian Sénéchal still sitting second. Christophe Laporte's about 4th, 5th position there. And then they come into this last final turn with about 850 meters to go. They'll fly into the turn lined up with two Soudal Quick Step riders, still Baggioli, then Florian Sénéchal. Then we go about 4th position. That's Christophe Laporte. Go a couple guys behind him, and we look at 9th through 11th, and that's going to be Bora Hansgrohe back there. It's Ryan Mullen, Danny Van Poppel, and their sprinter Sam Bennett, 9th through 11th. Look behind Sam Bennett. Well, Dylan Groenewegen's there. And you look, Bahrain victorious, Govakar is there. Govakar, I don't know exactly what he's capable of doing, but he's locked in tight on the Bora Hansgrohe wheels up front. Now we come out of the straightaway. Look, Baggioli's still on the front drilling it. But when we look back, there's only about 15 guys in this front group as we see splits just happening right behind that. So we know anybody outside the top 15 doesn't stand a chance of winning stage 2 of Dauphiné. Up front, now we see with 600 meters to go, oh man, Bora Hansgrohe timed this perfect. Ryan Mullen is doing a fantastic job coming from 9th position with his sprinter sitting 2 wheels behind him, full gas up the right side. Then we see him past Christophe Laporte, passing up to Soudal Quick Step, who now Florian Sénéchal is looking around. He's looking left to see what's happening. He's looking right to see what's happening. This is when I'm sitting on the Chesterfield. I realize Florian Sénéchal is not doing the sprint today because he pulls out hard left. Christophe Laporte did some nice dodging there of Baggioli before Florian Seneschal pulls off. As he went left, Bora Hansgrohe were going down the right side. Look just behind Bora Hansgrohe, it's Govichar sitting there, and then Dylan Groenewegen. Now Ryan Meulen's doing a fantastic job at the front. He hit out from about 650 because at 600 he was going solid past everyone. He'll go all the way into 400 meters to go. Ryan Meulen pull off hard, and then we see is Danny Van Poppel, the amazing lead-out sprinter here for Bora Hansgrohe, Sam Bennett. 400 meters to go. Danny Van Poppel is solid on the power. He's going all the way into about 200 meters to go. Then we start seeing that Sam Bennett's looking backwards. He looks backwards. He sees it's Bahrain victorious Govichar on his wheel. And then he sees Dylan Groenewegen back there. Behind Dylan Groenewegen is Christophe Laporte and Matteo Trentin from UAE Team Emirates back there. Now 175, this is when Sam Bennett starts his sprint. He takes off hard to the center of the road, looks under his arm to realize that he's losing time because he's seeing the Bahrain victorious Govichar back there coming fast. We go to the aerial view. Look how the wheels are overlapped. We see Sam Bennett up there in the center of the road. We see Govichar just a little bit overlapped on his wheel, and then overlapped to the right side of Govichar. Well, that's Dylan Groenewegen, and Dylan Groenewegen's coming with a ton of speed. Left side of the road, just about where Dylan Groenewegen is, that's Christophe Laporte, and the road is starting to open up for the Jumbo-Visma rider. As we go back up to the front, well, Sam Bennett knew what was coming when he looked underneath his arm and saw the speed was coming from behind. Took everyone from the center of the road all the way over to the right side of the fencing with 75 meters to go, shutting the door on everyone. Back it up about 10-15 meters before that, and Govichar had to back off on the pedals a little bit right there because he wants to get where Sam Bennett's moving all the way to the right. He wants to get his wheel back over here cleared because he knows Sam Bennett's taking him all to the fence. Dylan Groenewegen was already about half a wheel up there on Govichar, so he didn't have any choice but to go to the fence and hope Sam Bennett would back off and respect the UCI rules and not change your lane going all the way into the sprint finish. Well, Sam Bennett didn't. He went full gas all the way into the fencing. That brought him to 75 meters to go. Christophe Laporte started his sprint because the road's all opened up on the left side of the road there. As we see, the fencing has trapped everybody over there. Govichar goes a little bit to the left, and then Dylan Groenewegen pushes hard on Govichar's shoulder, going to the left, pushing Govichar over. That'll overlap the wheels with Bahrain victorious and with Christophe Laporte's back wheel. Govichar does an amazing job trying to keep the bike upright, and he does. Up front, Dylan Groenewegen is trying to close the gap, but he's stuck still back there with just about a quarter wheel of gain up front on Sam Bennett and Christophe Laporte. We look with 50 meters to go. They're going about side by side. Christophe Laporte and Sam Bennett going neck and neck with about 40 meters to go. 30 meters to go. We see as Dylan Groenewegen sits up in protest because he's mad up there about Sam Bennett. But Sam Bennett's still pulling 100%. Christophe Laporte's gaining 30 meters to go, 25 meters to go, 15 meters to go. Christophe Laporte looks like he might be able to win stage 2, but it's going to take a bike throw at the line. Christophe Laporte crosses the line and celebrates another victory for Jumbo-Visma. Sam Bennett holds on for second. Dylan Groenewegen holds on for third on today's stage. But wait a minute, that's the way it finished on the cameras anyways, but I taped later after the show, of course, so in hindsight, I know what really happened. Well, Sam Bennett got relegated on today's stage. Dylan Groenewegen got relegated too. Finally, the UCI have done the correct things here to relegate the riders. Sam Bennett starting a sprint in the middle of the road when he went right off his teammate Danny Van Poppel's wheel. That was okay moving right because you had the clear line. But once he looked under his armpit, took everyone to the fence with 75 meters to go. Dylan Groenewegen started protesting at 25 meters to go about the move from Sam Bennett once he realized he had no chance of winning today's stage 2. But guess what? Dylan Groenewegen, you almost crashed the Bahrain victorious rider Govichar. It's back there, so you get relegated too and you're out. So top 3 on the stage will be Christophe Laporte, Matteo Trentin second, and Milan Menton will finish off for Lotto Destiny in third. Govichar, who held up his bike from crashing back there when Dylan Groenewegen slapped him hard to the left, he ends up getting a 5th on today's stage because of the relegation from Sam Bennett and Dylan Groenewegen on today's race. Now, this is finally the right thing to do here. We go all the way back to last year's Tour de France. Remember that stage 3 it was when we saw up there Wout van Aert taking Peter Sagan all the way to the fence and they didn't relegate him? Well, We go further back. Remember, it was Dylan Groenewegen crashing Fabio Jakobsen from Soudal Quickstep at the Tour of Poland a couple years back for that dramatic crash that put Fabio Jakobsen into a coma and almost cost the Soudal Quickstep rider his life. And now you come up to today's stage and you see the UCI, because they've been allowing this to happen even at races as big as the Tour de France. When your name is Wout van Aert anyways, if your name is Peter Sagan, you're going to certainly get DQ'd or relegated to the last position on the stage. But when Wout van Aert did it in last year's Tour, it was allowed. So you come here to the Dauphiné, stage 3. Sam Bennett's on the front after a Cadillac lead out all the way to 175 meters to go from Ryan Moulin and from Danny Van Poppel, who hand-delivered him a stage victory today. But the big guy just did not have the speed to take it to the line. So what does he do? Same thing I see every sprinter do. Hook everybody to the fence and hope they don't get relegated. If the UCI had relegated Wout van Aert back there at the Tour de France stage at last year's stage 3, maybe we wouldn't have seen this today, and we could have seen a straight-up sprint line all the way to the finish. Well, we didn't get that. We got disappointed throughout all of today's race with nothing but a couple crashes going on, and then, of course, the relegation at the finish of today's stage. Other than that, if you slept in, you just want to tune in for the last 10 kilometers of today's stage, or 3.5 if you're really tight on time, and you'll see all the action coming in with that roundabout at about 2, and then the right, left, and right turn at 850 meters to go to finish out today's stage. Bora Hansgrohe, you guys, Ryan Moulin, and Danny Van Poppel did an exceptional job, and Sam Bennett let you guys down with a dirty move at the end of today's stage. Dylan Groenewegen complaining after he almost put somebody in the hospital on today at 75 meters to go on today's stage. No reason for you to be complaining after doing a move like that. But both Sam Bennett and Dylan Groenewegen, rightly so, get relegated on today's stage. Christophe Laporte gets a second stage victory for Jumbo-Visma. Added some time with the 10-second time bonus. Plus, if I take you all the way back to earlier in the stage, he won the sprint for another 3-second bonus on today's stage 2. So Christophe Laporte gains 13 more seconds on today's stage 3 to go into tomorrow's individual time trial of 31 kilometers on stage 4. Now, it's going to be an exciting race on tomorrow's stage 4 because we finally start getting into the big-time GC battle. We're going to see exactly where Julian Alaphilippe's form is. Remember, 2019 Tour de France, when Julian Alaphilippe won the individual time trial at that Tour de France while wearing the race leader's yellow jersey at the Tour. Well, I don't know if he's got that kind of form, but I don't want to underestimate the French guy either when he just got done winning yesterday's stage 2 away and taking it from everybody at yesterday's little bump finish up to the top there on stage 2 to win. But going to be interesting to see exactly where Julian Alaphilippe's form is here at Dauphiné. And of course, Egan Bernal, that's the big guy to keep an eye out because we got the Tour de France starting at the 1st of July. So Egan Bernal for Team Ineos, is he on form? Carlos Rodriguez, he's up here on the general classification for Ineos too. And of course, Danny Martinez. So Ineos have 3 riders that got to ride tomorrow's individual time trial full gas. Jonas Vingegaard, well, we know he's here to win the general classification and carry this form in the Tour de France. So this is a little peek, the first real peek that we get to see on where guys' form is when we're talking about getting ready for the Tour de France in 2023. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. The individual time trial is tomorrow, stage 4 of the Dauphiné. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys then.